In a drunken stupor one night, Jang Yun-ha got a girl pregnant. I found out when the girl was already 6 months along. He said, if we keep this child, we can go back to the way we were. I shook my head, stubbornly asking him, me or this child, who do you choose? That day, he was silent for a long time, unable to give me an answer. But after I disappeared, he regretted it. Married to Jang Yun-ha for 5 years, I never thought we would end like this. At the hospital entrance, Jang Yun-ha carefully helped a young and beautiful girl down the steps. Standing not far away, my eyes met Jang Yun-ha's, his face full of tenderness. His eyes flickered, stiffly avoiding my gaze. The girl with the big belly beside him also looked at me, tears welling up in her eyes instantly. After helping the girl safely into the car and carefully instructing her, Jang Yun-ha walked towards me. His steps were calm and composed, completely lacking the panic he had when I caught him. He first touched my hands, which were as cold as ice, and held them tightly in his palms. Why are you at the hospital? Are you not feeling well? As he spoke with concern, he reached out to touch my forehead. I dodged him. Who is she? Jang Yun-ha didn't answer my question, but instead pulled me into his arms to comfort me. She's an unimportant person. I'll explain to you when we get back, okay? His gentle words at this moment still brought tears to my eyes. I stubbornly raised my head, wanting an answer. As long as he said it, I would believe him. Jang Yun-ha sighed softly, and then gently wiped away the tears from the corners of my eyes. The child is mine. Tears froze on my face, and I seemed to forget how to breathe. My lips were bitten red, and I broke free from his embrace, stepping back. At this moment, Jang Yun-ha finally showed some anger. He pulled me into his arms again, looking at me with heartache. Shininiwa, you can blame me, but you can't torture yourself. I didn't know why he did such a thing, but still wanted to show me his loving side. In our silent confrontation, the girl in the car got out. Get back in, Jang Yun-ha said coldly, without a trace of warmth. The girl looked at the man timidly, but didn't leave, a bit more determination in her eyes. Miss Shin, what you think about me and Jiang is not like that, this child was an accident. After speaking, she smiled bitterly. If I could, I wouldn't want him more than anyone. My vision blurred, though I couldn't make out the expression on the man's face. But knowing him as well as I did, I could still sense that the coldness he initially had was long gone. Enough, stop talking. Jealousy and resentment filled my heart, and I screamed, breaking down. The girl swayed, nearly falling, but the man quickly caught her in his arms. I stared blankly at the scene, a thought flashing through my mind. I abruptly moved towards them. Just as I was about to touch the girl's swollen belly, I was forcefully pushed away. I sat on the ground, looked at my scraped palm, and gave a bitter smile. Jang Yun-ha stared in disbelief at his outstretched hand, stunned. That day, Jang Yun-ha left the 6-month pregnant girl and took me home. But I knew that he and I had no future. Back home, Jang Yun-ha gave me an explanation. I sat on the bed, motionless for a long time. And he stood on the balcony of my room, smoking all night long. I knew he was using self-inflicted pain to make me feel sorry for him. He could always find my weakness. As dawn broke, Jang Yun-ha turned around, came into the room, and approached me. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? I'll make it. I stopped him with a hoarse voice. Jang Yun-ha, let's talk. Jang Yun-ha paused, not turning back for a long time. I knew he understood my personality. I cared a lot about this kind of thing. I cared a lot. Even though he was drunk that day, and he had unintentional contact with that girl. I could never forgive it. So, Jeong Yun-ha concealed the matter. But no one expected that the stranger he only met once was pregnant. Because of her special constitution, she couldn't abort the child. That's why the situation is what it is today. Jeong Yun-ha left anyway. He didn't dare face the words I was about to say. I knew he loved me. If he didn't, we wouldn't have had a long-term relationship. If he didn't, he wouldn't have spoiled me to the point where I could be capricious and cry at the drop of a hat. Jeong Yun-ha didn't come back for the next week. But he still asked the housekeeper every day, in great detail, how I was doing. The housekeeper advised me, "Madam, you and Mr. Jiang are the most loving couple I've ever seen. Just talk things out. Mr. Jiang has lost so much weight recently." The housekeeper had been with our family for many years, and she had never seen Jeong Yun-ha and I argue even once. Even Jeong Yun-ha's mother, who wasn't satisfied with me in earlier years, gradually accepted me as her daughter-in-law because Jeong Yun-ha and I were living happily. The phone rang. It was Jeong Yun-ha calling. "Sister-in-law, Jiang is drunk, can you come and pick him up?" "Ignore him." After hanging up, the frustration in my heart only increased. The image of Jeong Yun-ha's departing back always came to mind, as if he were a little more hunched. I still couldn't bring myself to leave him there alone. After struggling for a while, I grabbed the car keys and strode out. The door to the private room was ajar. I stood outside without going in. Jeong Yun-ha was indeed drunk, sprawled out with his limbs outstretched, leaning unceremoniously on the sofa. Standing in front of him was a girl with a big belly. Jeong Yun-ha's friends were a little embarrassed. Miss Sue, his wife, wouldn't come, and Jeong wouldn't leave, so I had no choice but to call you. The girl smiled gently and took Jeong Yun-ha's arm to help him up. But he unexpectedly pushed her away. A few exclamations woke Jeong Yun-ha from his drunken stupor. He looked at the woman in front of him and gave a smile that was worse than crying. "Su Yueying, it's all because of you. Nuonuo doesn't want me anymore." Jeong Yun-ha kept repeating this sentence and started looking for wine again. No one could stop him as he picked up a bottle and recklessly poured it into his mouth. Suddenly, Su Yueying snatched the bottle from the man's hand and smashed it on the ground. The private room instantly fell silent. Even Jeong Yun-ha, who had been acting crazy just now, stared blankly at her. "Jeong Yun-ha, your commotion will scare our child. Get up, I'm tired, take me home." Jeong Yun-ha, who practically ruled the roost in Jiang City, had never been ordered around like this by anyone except me. Everyone thought he was angry and didn't dare to breathe loudly. But in such a tense atmosphere, Jeong Yun-ha said nothing. He slowly got up, picked up his clothes, and silently followed behind Su Yueying. And they left together. I hid in the corner and watched the man and woman in front. And suddenly laughed. But this smile had a hint of bitterness. I followed their taxi to a high-end residential area. And watched Jeong Yun-ha get out of the car and go upstairs with the girl. A light came on in the middle of the towering building. I sat in the car all night. Jeong Yun-ha didn't come out. At 7 in the morning, he went back in with breakfast. I looked at that incredibly familiar back. Someone quietly left. I called Jeong Yun-ha back, but didn't mention the divorce. I looked at the man who had lost weight and quickly averted my gaze. "I didn't pick you up last night. Where did you stay?" Jeong Yun-ha's fingers trembled slightly, and after a moment, he said, "I stayed at the company." I couldn't quite describe the feeling in my heart, not much sadness. But more of it was disappointment. Since when did Jeong Yun-ha learn to lie to me? The person who once said he would treat me with sincerity for a lifetime has now changed. I didn't expose him, because it didn't matter to me anymore. She's, how many months along? Jiang Yunhe paused for a few seconds, seemingly unwilling to hurt me. Almost 7 months. After saying that, he knelt down on one knee in front of me, burying his head deeply in my lap. Tears soaked my skirt. No, I was wrong, please don't leave me. In my memory, Jiang Yunhe had never cried. Now, he cried fiercely. Seeing him cry like that, my heart also ached. But I knew that at this moment, I couldn't be soft-hearted. Arrange for me to meet that girl. The meeting place we chose was at Su Yueying's house. Jiang Yunhe waited for me outside the door. Su Yueying gently stroked her lower abdomen, her eyes full of anticipation for the child. That night, the lights weren't on in the room, and I was really scared. But the next day, when I saw President Jiang lying next to me, I was actually relieved for a moment. Su Yueying laughed as she spoke. She looked up at me, still with that gentle and beautiful appearance. Ms. Shin, now that President Jiang and my child are about to be born, why don't you just grant us our wish? With Jiang Yunhe not around, the girl in front of me seemed like a different person. Actually, I wasn't too surprised. Because the night I went to find Jiang Yunhe, Su Yueying had glanced at me from behind the door. I knew she had already seen me that day. She slowly got up and pushed open the tightly closed door. Inside was a warm and cozy children's room. Everything in here was personally selected by President Jiang, and he also decorated the room. He does have expectations for this child. I really wanted to maintain my last bit of composure in front of Su Yueying, who was showing off Jiang Yunhe's paternal love to me. Yet, she still managed to infuriate me. It turned out, Jiang Yunhe did have some expectations for this child. He wasn't indifferent. All the strength seemed to drain from my body, and I leaned on the dining table with one hand, knocking over a glass. It shattered with a crisp sound, striking my heart and breaking it into countless cracks. Jiang Yunhe heard the noise, and what he saw was me swaying, and Su Yueying on the ground crying in pain. That day, I will never forget that Jiang Yunhe's first choice was no longer me. Su Yueying gave me a triumphant smile, thinking she had won. As he brushed past me, Jiang Yunhe hesitated for only a moment. In the end, he stepped over me and took Su Yueying to the hospital. Jiang Yunhe didn't look at me as he left. I stood there for a long time before slowly accepting the fact that he had abandoned me. I followed them to the hospital, and when I arrived, Zhang's parents were also there. It turned out, they had only kept it from me, they had known all along. Seeing me come over, Zhang's mother slapped me across the face. If anything happens to my grandson, see if I don't settle the score with you. Jiang Yunhe immediately protected me, shielding me behind him. Seeing this, Zhang's mother became even angrier. Jiang Yunhe, it's fine if you protect her normally, but now she's trying to harm your son. Jiang Yunhe laughed, his voice filled with suppressed resistance. So what if she is? If it's gone, it's gone. If they hadn't hidden this child from him, how could Nuanyuo be sad? No one knew that when he saw Su Yueying fall, his first reaction was actually happiness. He felt somewhat regretful about this unexpected event. The doctor came out of the ward and said the child was saved. Zhang's parents quickly went inside, showering Su Yueying with concern. Su Yueying kept looking at Jiang Yunhe standing at the door, looking pitiful. She dared to plot against me, how could I let her get her way? I showed him my red and swollen left cheek to make him feel sorry for me, and said to Jiang Yunhe, I don't want to stay here anymore. Jiang Yunhe took me away. As we left, I looked at Su Yueying lying on the hospital bed and gave her the same smile in return. At least for now, Jiang Yunhe still favored me. Even if I didn't want this favoritism. During the days when Jiang Yunhe thought I had accepted the child, I had already started preparing to leave. I packed my things and prepared the divorce agreement. Just waiting for the day to leave. That's right, I will leave on the day Suyuing gives birth. Doesn't she want me to complete their family of 3? Then I'll grant her that wish. Lately, I've been feeling a persistent, vague discomfort in my lower abdomen. I originally went to the hospital that day for a checkup, but I didn't expect to run into them. I re-registered and had the examination. The moment I received the results, I laughed through my tears. Jiang Yunhe and I had been trying for a child for 5 years, without success. Now, it seems this child has come at an inopportune time. Holding the pregnancy certificate in my hand, I walked around the hospital in a daze, not knowing how to treat the little life inside me. I know I should get an abortion, but I can't bear to. This decision is harder than giving up Jiang Yunhe. Then, I looked up and saw Jiang Yunhe accompanying Suyuing as they came out after her prenatal checkup. We haven't mentioned Suyuing's matter in the past few days. He assumed that my silence meant I condoned her existence. President Jiang, our baby is very healthy. I'm so happy. Jiang Yunhe's voice was unreadable, but his raised eyebrows betrayed his good mood. Yes, you've been taking good care of him. As the two discussed their child, neither of them noticed that I had stopped in front of them. The moment Jiang Yunhe saw me, he immediately let go of Suyuing's hand and distanced himself from her. After a silent pause, I spoke first. What a coincidence. You guys are busy, I'll be going now. Jiang Yunhe frantically grabbed me, unwilling to let me leave. Nuonyuo, let me explain. I calmly released his hand, without a trace of anger. I'm not angry. This child is your responsibility, I understand. Hearing this, Suyuing's eyes suddenly lit up. Miss Shin, do you really agree to keep this child? Since we last fell out, I didn't want to give her any more pleasantries. Miss Su's child is due in a few days. Does it matter if I disagree? The woman immediately became anxious, her voice tinged with tears. I was forced into it. What's said now is meaningless. Without letting Jiang Yunhe follow, I turned around and went back to the doctor. Someone had already made the decision for me. On the day Suyuing went into labor, Jiang Yunhe was called away at 4 in the morning. As he left, he whispered in my ear, Nuonyuo, after this child is born, can we go back to how we used to be, okay? He knew I wasn't asleep. He also knew that there was a strange child between us, and that things were no longer the same as before. I closed my eyes tightly, not giving him a response. But just as he was about to walk out the door, I suddenly called out to him. I asked persistently, Jiang Yunhe, who do you choose, me or this child? Seeing the surprised and troubled expression on his face, I shook my head and urged him to leave. Seeing me lie back down again, Jiang Yunhe said softly, wait for me to come back, I will solve everything. But, I don't need you to solve it, I'll do it myself. After he left, I took out a divorce agreement and a USB drive and placed them on the bedside table. Without any farewell, I left this home that I once cherished so much. 2 days before the plane took off, I went back to my hometown. I hadn't been back since I married Jiang Yunhe. The one small bungalow had been replaced by a 2-story building, particularly eye-catching among the houses. Someone with sharp eyes saw me and shouted, pointing at me, Old Shin's family's eldest daughter who married into a wealthy family is back. In less than a minute, I was surrounded by people. My parents also came out of the house, and the smiles on their faces froze when they saw my empty hands. They greeted me into the house with fake smiles, and as soon as they closed the door, my mother pinched my waist hard. You dead girl, you came back without even buying us anything, we really raised you for nothing. I'm divorced. Jiang Yunhe won't be giving you any more money from now on. The whole family looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy, and their faces changed. Look, these parents and siblings who rely on selling their daughter to leech money are my family. When they learned that I had left with nothing and hadn't received a penny, the whole family drove me out mercilessly. I stood outside the locked gate, not heartbroken. In front of this family, I should thank Jiang Yunhe for sheltering me from the wind and rain. For giving me 5 years of peaceful life. But, since we've separated, I don't want them to bother his new life anymore. Having solved this trouble, I boarded the plane without any regrets. Leaving the city where I had lived for many years alone. Su Yueying gave birth to an 8-pound boy, and Jiang Yunhe had a son. And at this moment, I was on the plane, lost in deep memories. Thinking back to when I first got together with Jiang Yunhe. That year, my family told me that Grandpa was sick and needed medicine. They didn't have money, and if I didn't give it to them, they wouldn't treat Grandpa. At that time, I transferred all the money I had saved to them, not even leaving enough for a meal. I ate instant noodles for a month before I got my next paycheck. Later, Jiang Yunhe found out. This young master, who had been born with a silver spoon in his mouth, had never lacked money. His eyes reddened, and he asked me in a hoarse voice, "Why didn't you tell me?" Without giving me a chance to answer, he hugged me tightly, his voice full of heartache for me. "Don't forget, you still have me." That day, I met the first person in over 20 years I could rely on. In the 5 years after our marriage, Jiang Yunhe never broke a promise. Since Grandpa passed away, he shielded me from all the messy people in the family. Would I say Jiang Yunhe was good to me? My answer is, very good. At least before Su Yueying, he was a very, very good husband. But love isn't always enough to last a lifetime. Even if I didn't leave this time, that child would still become a thorn in my heart. And a thorn festering in the heart for too long will eventually rot. I want our beautiful memories to stay right here. To remain at this moment when we still love each other. After the plane landed, I looked up at the clear blue sky. From now on, he and I. May we be separated by vast skies and seas, and may we each be well. The moment the child was born, Jiang Yunhe felt a fleeting surge of joy. This was a child he had anticipated, his own flesh and blood, his son. So, in his euphoria, he condescended to stay with Su Yueying at the hospital for one night. That night, he didn't go home. He wanted to arrange everything for Su Yueying and the child, and then cut off all contact with them. So that he and Shininiwa could go back to being as loving as before. But Shininiwa didn't wait for him, she disappeared on her own. When the aunt came to the hospital to find him, Jiang Yunhe was carefully cradling his child. The moment he heard that Shininiwa had left, Jiang Yunhe didn't get up to look for her. He simply closed his eyes tightly. Because he knew that Shininiwa wouldn't forgive him this time. Jiang Yunhe didn't sign the divorce agreement on the bedside table. He watched the video in the USB drive. Both of these things together were mocking his foolish actions. At the end of the video was a message Shininiwa had recorded for him. After listening to it, Jiang Yunhe burst into tears. He knew he was wrong, terribly wrong. It turned out, Shininiwa knew everything. Yunhe, after so many years of marriage, it's my fault for not giving the Jiang family a child. I know you really want a child of your own. No matter what your reasons were for keeping this child, it doesn't matter anymore. Let's part ways peacefully. Shininiwa saw through his inner calculations, he wanted to keep this child. For a self-centered person like him, he only cares about the people who are important to him. What do other people matter? If he didn't want to, this child would never have had the chance to be born. It was his tacit approval that allowed Jiang's parents to nourish Su Yueying's pregnancy. It was his heartfelt joy that allowed Su Yueying to seize the opportunity to hurt the one he loved. Jiang Yunhe wanted the best of both worlds, but in the end, he lost the person he cherished most. Jiang Yunhe, the child is already born, what are you doing now? Zhang's mother looked at Jiang Yinhe, who was about to give away her newborn grandson, with uncontrollable anger, reaching her breaking point. Without this child, Nuonyuo will forgive me. Jiang Yinhe was now determined that he didn't want this child for even a second. He had already found a family to give the child to, and with extra money, they wouldn't mistreat him. Seeing Jiang Yinhe stubbornly insisting, Zhang's mother pleaded with tears, "Yinhe, this is your own son, are you really willing to give him away? Mom knows you're heartbroken because Shinnuo divorced you, but no matter what you do, she won't come back. To me, no one is more important than Nuonyuo, Mom, I regret it." Jiang Yinhe's heart trembled, he swallowed the bitterness, and forcibly took away the 1-month-old baby. This incident caused quite a stir in their circle. People discussed it for a long time. Some said Jiang Yinhe was too cruel, while others said he was too devoted. Anyway, the Jiang family was completely made a laughingstock. After half a year, Jiang Yinhe found out my address. When he wanted to come and find me, he was stopped by his cousin, Gu Ran. His cousin was my senior in university, and this time I was able to manage abroad thanks to her care. "Brother, don't come," Nuonyuo said. "If you come, she'll leave." Everyone saw how much you loved Nuonyuo in the beginning. How could you be so muddled on this matter? Faced with his cousin's questioning, Jiang Yinhe couldn't say a word. Time wouldn't give him a chance to start over. After a long silence, Jiang Yinhe asked in a low voice, "How is she?" "Very good, she eats and sleeps well, and has gained a lot of weight." Jiang Yinhe forced a bitter smile, revealing his sharp chin. "That's good, take good care of her." After hanging up the phone, the joy of finding her again slowly began to spread in Jiang Yinhe. He burst out laughing in his dimly lit home. He found her, that's great. On the other side, Gu Ran put down her phone in annoyance and cursed a few times. I looked at the woman who was still angry and amused, and I tried to comfort her. "I don't even care anymore, why are you still angry? How can it be the same? You and my brother were so loving in the beginning, how did it come to this?" Everyone who knew about my breakup with Jiang Yinhe felt sorry for us. But when the fate is over, you can't go on. Gu Ran is my best friend, and only she can ask me some things. She focused her gaze on my belly. "Nuonyuo, what are you planning to do with this child? Are you not going to let my brother know?" I caress my child, who is mine and mine alone, my eyes full of tenderness. I didn't abort the child back then. In that final moment, I regretted it. I had no family, no Jiang Yinhe, and I didn't want to spend the rest of my life alone. She doesn't have a father, only a mother. A month later, I gave birth to a girl, and I had the most precious person in the world. I worked and raised my daughter, and life was happy and fulfilling. I initially invested in Gu Ran's company with my technology, and now the company is doing very well. I have the ability to give my daughter a wealthy life. Unknowingly, my daughter turned 5 years old. Under Gu Ran's threats, Jiang Yinhe didn't dare to come to me. But every month, he would ask Gu Ran about my situation. Gu Ran asked me if she should tell him. I nodded. There was nothing that couldn't be said except for the existence of my daughter. Due to the shift in company business, Gu Ran's company was moving back to China. This time, she was going back to get married. Naturally, I would go back with her to attend her wedding. Because my daughter was developing late, she was smaller than children her age, and she didn't look like Jiang Yinhe at all. Moreover, he already had a son. He probably wouldn't care about my daughter. On the day we returned to China, Gu Ran had urgent work to attend to, so she asked her boyfriend to bring us back first. When the plane landed, Jiang Yinhe was standing outside to pick me up. Because Gu Ran often came to my house for meals, her boyfriend was also familiar with us. My daughter was holding his hand, so Jiang Yinhe misunderstood. Jiang Yinhe felt a pang of pain in his chest, and his throat felt blocked, making it difficult for him to breathe. Seeing us walking over, he used all his strength to utter a few words. "You're back?" I gently hummed in response, not saying much more. With the passage of time, those affections had long faded. The moment I saw Jiang Yinhe today, I knew that I had moved on from the past. Walking out of the airport, Jiang Yinhe offered to drive me. Gu Ran's boyfriend knew that Jiang Yinhe might have misunderstood our relationship, so he didn't explain. Instead, he smiled and declined him. "No need to trouble you, we have a car." After getting in the car, Jiang Yinhe was still standing there, watching the direction the car left in. My daughter asked me, "Mommy, who was that strange uncle? He looked like he was about to cry. Do adults cry too?" I touched my daughter's soft hair, not turning back to look. "That uncle is Mommy's friend, maybe the wind got in his eyes." Before long, Gu Ran called me, saying that Jiang Yinhe had asked about his daughter. As we had discussed, I said that the daughter was a child I had adopted. Jiang Yinhe believed it. Gu Ran came back a few days later than us and was busy preparing for the wedding as soon as he returned. He handed over many things in the company to me. After playing with my daughter for a few days, I started to get busy with work every day. I don't know where Jiang Yinhe found out my address, but his car has been parked downstairs at my house these past few days. Parked there all night long. I pretended not to notice and ignored it. A person who is almost a stranger no longer has any impact on me. On the day of Gu Ran's wedding, I brought my daughter to attend and met Jiang Yinhe and his parents. Gu Ran is Jiang Yinhe's cousin, and many people in their circle know me. Seeing me with a child, those people whispered to each other. Jiang Yinhe deliberately blocked those who were staring at me, while also blocking the resentful-looking Zhang's mother's eyes as she looked at me. Those who didn't get along with Zhang's mother naturally wouldn't let this opportunity pass. Someone asked me, "Little Shin, could this child be from the Jiang family?" Mrs. Jiang now has grandsons and granddaughters, which is such a great blessing. I don't care what they think of me, what they say about me, but I can't stand them talking about my daughter. I smiled at the woman, who was clearly a year younger than Zhang's mother but had a face full of wrinkles. "You are the truly blessed one, with a real house full of children and grandchildren." The woman's husband's seventh son had just been brought back from outside and was only 10 years old. The woman shut her mouth in embarrassment. After this incident, I was a little worried that my daughter would be recognized by them. So, I deliberately blocked my daughter in front of the Jiang family throughout the whole time. I planned to leave with my daughter early after the ceremony. But unexpectedly, I turned around and didn't keep an eye on her. When I looked again, my daughter had already run to Zhang's mother and raised her little chin. "Grandma, you're not allowed to glare at my mommy all the time." Zhang's mother was stunned for a while, and a look of disbelief flashed across her face. She stretched out her trembling hand and touched my daughter's face. "Tell Grandma, how old are you?" My daughter held out 4 fingers and said what I had taught her, "I'm 4 years old this year." Zhang's mother's eyes instantly became dim, and she muttered. "So similar, so incredibly similar." This little girl in front of her looked exactly like her when she was a child. My heart was pounding. Zhang's mother's expression was obviously abnormal, and I was afraid she would see something. I hurriedly walked to my daughter's side, wanting to take her away. At this moment, a little boy of about 5 or 6 years old suddenly shouted, "Liar, didn't you just tell me you were 5 years old?" My daughter looked up at me, her face turning red, a little embarrassed. "Mom, I forgot for a moment." I closed my eyes, forced to accept reality. Fortunately, Jiang Yinhe still had a son, and Zhang's parents still had a grandson. No matter who it was, they couldn't take my daughter away from me. During the reception, Gu Ran was pulled aside to ask about the truth, and she looked over at me. I nodded to her. After the wedding, my daughter and I followed Zhang's parents back to the old Jiang family house. In the car, Zhang's mother held my daughter tightly, overjoyed. Zhang's father also had a rare smile on his face. Jiang Yinhe, who came in last, was the happiest of all, his eyes never leaving his daughter. After the nanny took my daughter out to play, I finally spoke. She's mine alone, I can't give her to you. Seeing my firm attitude, Zhang's mother was also assertive. She's our Jiang family's granddaughter. I can't let you take her away. How much money do you want? Name your price. Since there was no point in talking further, I picked up my bag to leave. But Jiang Yinhe blocked me at the door. You've raised our daughter very well. What my mother says doesn't count. At that moment, I felt that Jiang Yinhe was extremely excited. He was several times gentler than usual. But no matter what, his saying such words made me think a little better of him. You already have a son, you already have a grandson, why do you still have to fight me for my daughter? But as soon as I said these words, Jiang Yinhe and his parents' faces all changed. The expression on Jiang Yinhe's face became very faint, so faint that it was as if he were talking about something that had nothing to do with him. And his parents had a look of dislike on their faces. I even doubted that I had seen it wrong. After all, that was their long-awaited grandson. Gu Ran gave me the answer that night. It turned out that after I left, Jiang Yinhe had sent the child Su Yueying gave birth to away. When he was 4 years old, Zhang's parents found him and brought him to the Jiang family. But Jiang Yinhe refused to acknowledge the child. A son who is not recognized by his father has not changed back to the Jiang surname to this day. Because he didn't grow up by their side, and because Zhang's parents didn't like many of his habits. Also because of him, their son Jiang Yinhe no longer returned to the old Jiang family house. Gradually, they also became distant from this child. That child now locks himself in his room every day and refuses to see anyone, very lonely. What about Su Yueying? Doesn't she care? Gu Ran lowered her voice on the other end of the phone, as if afraid of being overheard. I heard that my brother was set up by that woman Su Yueying. Something was put in his drink. According to Gu Ran, Jiang Yinhe became suspicious after seeing the video I gave him. The video was what I recorded at Su Yueying's house that day. How could I possibly meet Su Yueying unprepared, knowing what kind of person she is? Before long, he actually found evidence. Jiang Yinhe sent Su Yueying in without the slightest hesitation. I sighed after hearing this, never expecting the matter to end this way. I just feel sorry for the child Su Yueying gave birth to. Ever since he found out we had a daughter together, Jiang Yinhe had the idea of getting back together. Zhang's parents were also very supportive, so they could see their granddaughter all the time. Jiang Yinhe used the same tactics he used to pursue me back then, with all sorts of tricks, and I avoided him every day. Seeing me like this, Gu Ran suggested that I might as well go back. I was also tempted. But when I discussed it with my daughter, although she agreed, I could see her hesitation. I didn't say anything, just quietly waited for her to say what she really thought. Mom, I like it here, can we not go back? I asked my daughter. Do you like that uncle who is always downstairs at our house? My daughter is smart and sensible, and she has never asked me who her father is. Is he my dad? There was a light in my daughter's eyes, and I replied, yes, he is your dad. To make my daughter happy, let's not go back. I still have ways to deal with Jiang Yinhe, who is pestering me relentlessly. I asked Jiang Yinhe out, wanting to talk to him. He refused me 3 times before showing up. We know each other too well. If I hadn't asked him out alone, there might still have been room for maneuver between us. But now, he knows that there is absolutely no possibility between us. Even for the sake of the child, can't you get back together with me? Jiang Yinhe asked humbly, but I was angered by him instead. Jiang Yinhe, I am first and foremost a person, and only secondarily a mother. I can do anything for my daughter, provided it is with my own free will. Over the years, I have rarely thought about my past with Jiang Yinhe. I have never even thought about the past between him and Su Yueying. But today, in order to make Jiang Yinhe give up, I uncovered the already congealed scars, revealing the untouchable pain inside. I stirred the coffee in my hand and asked in a very calm voice. Jiang Yinhe, I remember that you never drink wine from strangers outside. I looked up at him. But that day, why did you drink the glass that Su Yueying gave you? Jiang Yinhe's hand suddenly tightened, and his lips trembled involuntarily. After a long time, Jiang Yinhe closed his eyes in despair. That night, you were moved by Su Yueying. This was the fact I least wanted to face that night, the one he explained to me. It's not like there weren't women who wanted to get with him, but none of them had ever succeeded. Even if it was just a momentary stirring of the heart, it existed. That's why he gave Su Yueying the opportunity to take advantage. Jiang Yinhe actually knew the reason himself, he just didn't want to admit it. When he left, Jiang Yinhe cried in front of me again. But I will never cry because of him.